Hi guys, it's Martyn Ford here for Redcon 1. Now, you've seen me train, you've seen me in the gym, you've seen how serious I take my training. Come outside of the gym and nutrition plays a massive part in my life also. I've never been one to be too over the top when it comes to weighing foods. I have a basic understanding for myself and I understand the types of foods that I need to be consuming, but I don't want to trap myself in that environment where every time I eat a meal it has to be weighed, it has to be measured. I've had issues in the past where I've used food as an escapism, I suppose, and it's caused me to have issues with food. So for me, I prefer to be hands off when it comes to the measurements and when it comes to how anal some individuals can be when it comes to the food aspect of bodybuilding, for instance. I love the sport and I love and have massive respect for all of the bodybuilders and athletes out there. For me, being that strict and that on top when it comes to the measurements of certain types of foods and how much you can and can't eat, it's just a risky scenario for me to let myself get back into. So what I try to do is have a base understanding. If I'm bulking, I'll have a basic understanding of the types of food I need to eat and roughly the amounts of food I need to eat. But if I'm full and I can't consume any more, or if I feel like I need to eat more, I'll allow myself that flexibility to do so. I think this comes with years and years of training and understanding the basics of food and the types of food you need to consume. So, with that being said, at the moment I've just booked for a TV show, a role that I've been working on, and the producer, Joss Whedon, wanted me to get as big as possible. So what I did, I went back to basics. I stuck to 6 meals a day. I made sure that every single meal I consumed had a basic breakdown of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. I roughly consumed around 80 to 100 grams of carb every single meal. I roughly consume around 25 to 30 grams of fats, and I roughly had around about 45 to 55 grams of protein. And what I tend to do is try and mix up the sources of protein every single day. So I may have fish, it may be cod, it may be haddock, it may be a salmon, it could be fresh tuna. I like to consume turkey and chicken, and at least once a day have a good serving of steak and make sure it's as lean as possible. So fillet is my option. It's my steak of choice, what I tend to go for. When it comes to carbohydrates, I like to stick to oats, sweet potatoes, white rice and potatoes. That's pretty much the basic carbohydrates that I tend to switch on. Fats, avocados, nuts, and then obviously you get your natural fats within the oily fish such as salmon and so on. And then when it comes to supplementation, I always make sure that I have post-training a decent amount of carbohydrate, fast acting, normally cluster dextrin, around about 50 to 60 grams. My whey isolate, I tend to have around about 40 to 50 grams of that. And that's pretty much my basis for the nutritional aspect of my bulk up. If I have days where I'm feeling extremely ravenous and I just want to eat, I will up the carbs. I will have more carb heavy meals. And then likewise, sometimes I'll have days where I just feel like I'm full and I can't consume anymore. I may bring the carbs down slightly, but always making sure the protein stays around the same sort of number. I find for me personally, that allows me to grow muscle and to gain muscle. Now, I spoke earlier about weighing food, and for me, having not an issue with it, but I didn't want to get too over the top with weighing food. There's pros and cons when it comes to weighing food. I've dieted for film roles before, and I've dieted on natural appetite and trying to just reduce and cut back food. And I have also dieted by counting macros. And unfortunately, when you do count your macros, the results are far greater and you get them a lot faster. So there is a time and a place when it comes to calorie control and using the scales. The one thing I'd advise for anyone out there is to make sure whatever option you choose and whatever route you go down, stay true to yourself, be comfortable, and don't allow any external pressures to drive you into a certain mindset. So stay focused, enjoy, and be a winner.